Come here. Lean in a little bit closer. I want to ask you something. What would your business look like if you were bringing in an extra $8,000 to $10,000 a month just through your online presence? What would your business look like if you didn't have to give away all your profits every time you run a promotion to providers like Groupon, or spend thousands every month on coupon delivery services? And if you run a service business, what if you didn't have to share the leads that you get from Angie's List or other lead generation providers with up to 5 of your competitors? And what if you could do all that without spending an extra dollar on advertising? What if during your working hours, you could spend time just focused on running your business? And when you're not working, what if you could just enjoy more time with the people you care about, doing the things that you love and not worrying about your business? What would that look like? What kind of lifestyle would you be living? Hello and greetings. My name is Lance T. Walker. I am the managing director for MyBetterBuffalo.com, and I want to welcome you to the online business masterclass for Western New York businesses. The idea is to help you grow your revenues to $75K a year online and beyond. So 3 things I want to start off and ask you to do real quick. First of all, clear the next 45 minutes or so of your day. I believe you're going to find it well worth your while, and you're going to want to definitely pay attention because I'm going to be sharing some secrets and some knowledge that a lot of people would pay thousands of dollars to get and still actually don't wind up getting. So in order to make that happen, I ask for you to go ahead and, shut off your other distractions, your email, your Twitter, your cell phone, take the dog for a walk or, whatever you need to do so that you can actually focus. And then third, get something that you can use to take notes, because this will be, again, valuable information for you and you're not going to want to miss out. Now, I want to tell you right up front, this is a pre-recorded masterclass, and we do that for a reason. We know that different businesses operate at different times. Okay. The owner of a bakery shop might get to work, at dark 30 in the morning. A tree trimmer service might operate during daylight hours on weekdays. And of course, the owner of a restaurant or a clothing store might work late into the night doing paperwork and accounting and that kind of thing. So this class is being recorded as what we call an evergreen class, which means it's available to you at your convenience so that you can get the most out of it. The idea here is not to make this a big long pitch fest, which, we know a lot of, so-called webinars or masterclasses turn out to be. But my goal is to provide you with real actionable information, and quite a bit of it, frankly. So you might not absorb it all the first time around, and I want you to be able to come back and go through this again at your convenience, and have some valuable takeaway from this whole endeavor. Okay, so the first question I normally get asked when I present this type of information is, of course, is this training for me? So in order to answer that, first thing I want to do is go ahead and tell you who this training is not designed for. Doesn't mean that it wouldn't be of value to these folks, but it's not specifically designed for them. First of all, if you're running an information-based business, or one that we typically refer to as the laptop lifestyle, being able to work anywhere at any time as long as you have an internet connection and a laptop, this particular system isn't really suited for you. This is basically for people who are running brick and mortar businesses and are looking to expand their sales operations to the internet and make use of that awesome tool. The second is B2b businesses. If you're doing business to business, your system is going to be a bit more involved. It's going to take a bit more time, more connections, contact points, that sort of thing. So that's a different style of approach. Third, if you are operating a business outside of Western New York, again, it's not that this won't work for you, but this particular strategy is particularly aimed for this region, what we call the Niagara region, at this moment in time. There are places around the country that are, far more involved in the whole internet marketing, internet business type of operations, more familiar with it. Each area of the country has its own unique history and unique challenges that it's facing right now. So we're operating, MyBetterBuffalo.com is operating in the Western New York area, which basically goes from Rochester in the east to as far west as St. Catharines, Ontario in the west, and then down, of course, Buffalo is the main city, and then as far south as Erie, Pennsylvania. Fourth, and finally, if you as a business are already doing north of 100,000, six figures per year through your internet sales, then you're at a different level and your approach is going to need to be different as well as your priorities. Okay. So this particular system is designed for companies that are, pushing to get into the internet space, or they're curious about it, know they need to do it, but haven't been able to yet figure out how or who to trust to help make that process happen. Okay. So that's a summary of who this is not for. Now, to answer the main question, you are in the right place if you own a real world business in Western New York. Okay, this is where you need to be. Second, if you've been trying to move more of your operations online and you're tired of wasting time and money on trial and error, this is the place to be. Third, if you've been struggling to reach that 75 to 100K plateau and doggone it, you want to know what the secrets are, what is it that the successful folks know that you don't, then you're in the right place. Welcome. Glad you're here. Now, the next question that I often get is, or that I want to address, is what will we learn in this masterclass? I think that's kind of relevant. So let me give you a quick summary real quick of what we're going to be going through in this particular workshop. Number one, why growing your online presence immediately is so important. Okay, keyword immediately. If you're in the mode of I'll get around to it eventually, you're probably not going to get all the value that you can out of what we're going to do today. Okay, this is about understanding the urgency and being prepared to make the commitment and make the move to making use of this historic tool. Second, who am I? Who is Lance T. Walker, and why should you care what I have to say? I'll give a little brief bio. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on me, but I do want to let you know that I didn't just, jump off the bus yesterday and decide I was an internet expert. Third, why the process is so difficult for so many. It's an unfortunate fact that most businesses, online or off, actually wind up not succeeding. But it's also true that, as Tony Robbins would say, success leaves clues. Okay, so there are things that people who succeed are doing and those who aren't are not doing. So we're going to briefly cover that and help you get a sense of the arena that you're dealing with. Number four, after we analyze the madness, we're going to go through a sensible, orderly path to success that you can accomplish in 6 months or less. Now, this is being recorded in July of 2022, so we have basically 4 months to go before the holiday shopping season hits in full bloom. So again, this class is oriented for those who are ready to actually make a move immediately, make this thing happen, and they're going to need to do it in time for the holiday season if they don't want to miss out. So this system is geared to let you know how you can do this in 6 months or less, depending on how ambitious you are. And then, of course, number five, how to get help if you so desire. As I stated earlier, I'm going to make sure that you get a ton of value from this. I'm going to try my best not to overwhelm you, not to overload you, but I do want to over-deliver and make sure that you get just a ton of value, whether you decide to work with us or not. Okay, so, that being said, I want to let you know up front, when we're done, I am going to make an offer to you. And if you're so inclined, by all means, take advantage. If not, I at least want to make sure that you go away with something that you can put into place, on your own and actually get it done and have received, valuable information for your time. Also, as an incentive to to get you to go ahead and listen all the way through to the end and hear what I have to say, I'm going to offer you an incentive bonus, which is a really nice bonus. It's actually worth, in the real world, not made up. This is a bonus worth $200. Promise you, I've gone through master classes and webinars where they offer a bonus to sit through the presentation, and then at the end, somehow they just never get around to offering that bonus. That won't happen. So the next time you see this red and gold package on the screen, know that your bonus is available to you at that point. So the first thing we want to go over is, what exactly is the mission? What exactly are we trying to accomplish here? And in this case, I want to talk about two actual missions, my mission and your mission, okay, or our mission. So as far as my mission is concerned, I don't mind telling you that I believe I have the absolute best job in the world. And that job is using my experience, tools, knowledge, and connections to help my fellow Western New York small business owners successfully grow their online businesses into the 75 to 100K revenue range within 6 months. I can't think of anything else I'd rather do at this stage in my life. Okay, so that's my mission. Now, what's our mission, your mission, and mine? Is to get that done, to get you to the point where your online presence is hitting 6 figures so that you can get to the next stage where you have different priorities and you want to actually start scaling that growth. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about real quick is why getting this done right now, like yesterday, is so important. The main reason, there's basically two, but the main reason is because your customers are moving online. Okay, now you're probably aware of this at some level, but I want to talk about it specifically because there's forces that are moving constantly and growing in pressure that are causing this to happen. The first, of course, is the pandemic situation. Okay, not only are more people more hesitant to come outside and certainly to get into places where there's crowds of people because of the COVID-19 virus, but we're actually now looking at a possible resurgence of this situation. The new variant that's coming out that's actually causing people to have to, at some point here shortly, actually go in for more booster shots. Okay, so that only exacerbates that whole health concern. The second reason, of course, is fear of gun violence. Here in Buffalo, we just had a shooting a couple of months ago at the Top supermarket, and a lot of people are actually saying they're afraid to come out and buy groceries. That's a terrible situation, but it's also an opportunity for folks who deliver groceries. Okay, so it's a reality that we don't like having to deal with, but we need to deal with nonetheless. The third, of course, is rising prices and inflation, particularly at the gas pump. Okay, a lot of people are very hesitant to, pump gas into their car and run around town going from business to business, especially when they can make a few clicks on their computer and have things delivered to their front door. So more and more, this actually represents an opportunity for you if you're able and willing to take advantage of it. And then the fourth reason is that unlike the real world, where if people want to go to your competitors, they need to go from, shop to shop, store to store, on the internet, your competition is always just a click away. Okay, so that's a reality that for some, they may find it scary or daunting, but for others, for those who are prepared and are, wanting to actually stay competitive, it's just a reality to be dealt with. And for that reason, you want to make sure that, your tools and your information are up to speed so that you can compete effectively. And that's what this is all about. Now, the second reason that you want to get this done now is that there's more and more pressures on your bottom line as a retail outlet. So we don't want to get mixed up in a situation that I see a lot with confusion, where people think that in order to expand their online presence beyond their offline reality, that they need to go all Shopify and put thousands of items onto an online web store and go e-commerce and all this sort of thing. Okay, well, that's not true. We want to go ahead and dispel that myth right away. That, of course, is a way to go, and at some point you may want to do that. But if you're looking to get to that six-figure mark right now in your online sales, that's probably not the way to go because of both the time and investment capital that's going to be needed in order to set all of that up. So while I encourage you to remain open to that idea, I also encourage you to see your online operations basically as a division of the store that you now own. Okay, so that means that there is going to be some things that are going to be in common that you're going to want to make sure are in place in your online presence. And a lot of business owners, miss this, but still at the same time, as an extension of your offline presence, that gives you some options other than the 1,000-item Shopify catalog presence, that a lot of folks get sucked into. Okay, there's no need to try to become the next Best Buy or the next Amazon.com, because there are other ways that you can use the internet in your favor. And the top three that I like to work with are, of course, there's a lot of, folks running real world businesses that really, they just want to be able to drive foot traffic. In a situation where less and less people are coming out, or, maybe they have more competition, they want to be able to get feet coming through the doors. Okay. And your internet presence is perfectly capable of doing that for you. The second is phone in orders. Okay. If your web presence is set up, and by web presence, I don't necessarily mean a website, because everything in this system that we'll be talking about today is you can put it into place without even having a website. But one of the things that you want to be able to do is drive phone orders. Okay, so that people get that, as I've heard people say a lot, get that phone ringing, and your internet presence is a prime way to do that. But there's a way to make it happen. Then third is, if you do have a website up right now, how can you convert more website orders? How can you convert more from the traffic that you're already getting, as opposed to constantly having to drive more and more traffic? So if anybody who is advising you on your internet presence tells you that the answer to your problem is you just need to throw more money at it, that's not a solution. Okay, putting more good money after bad is not how we want to do business. And now, lastly, for this section, trust takes time to build. Okay, you don't want to be that tragedy that I deal with, and trust me, I deal with it every year around September, October, when all of a sudden I'll start getting calls from people who want to get their internet presence up and built so that they can make good revenue during the Christmas holiday season. Don't be that guy. Don't be that person. Okay. Trust takes time to build, and online, it definitely takes time to build because you're not dealing face to face. So many of your customers, if not most of them, will start out with smaller purchases just to test you out, just to make sure that you're for real, just to see how your systems work. Do you deliver? Do you deliver on time? Okay. And then once they are confident in the quality of your products and services and the fact that you can deliver, then they will step up the amount of their purchases. So you want to get your online strategy in place now so that you can be in position. And if you're aiming for this year, that means you have basically 4 months to get in position for a strong holiday season where you've earned the so-called know, like, and trust factor of your customers, of a certain group of customers that will be loyal to you and will think of you top of mind when it comes time to do their Christmas or holiday shopping. Finally, your mindset needs to be this: a recession is a time to invest in growth. Now, that might seem counterintuitive, and if it does, I hope you'll hear me out here for just a second, because most of your competition is going to think that way. Oh, we're in a recession, we need to pull back. Okay, and most folks who fall into that trap, the first place they want to fall back is their marketing, which is the engine of your business growth. So it's the last place you should be looking to cut back. Okay. So what you want to do as somebody who's been through, this class and has learned this information is you want to take advantage of that reality. Okay. I know you've heard folks say when they zig, we zag. When your competitors are pulling back and hunkering down and trying to basically avoid the fray, that's when you want to get more aggressive. Because that's when market share is built. That's when new customers are gained. That's when new relationships are formed, and you're able to set the foundation for not only sustained growth, but rapid growth going forward. So let's summarize this whole mission thing. Okay, what I like to call the big mission, the journey that I would like for us to go on together. Listen, never before in history has the opportunity been so great to become financially successful. Sure, the challenges are there, but never have the barriers been so low and the tools so powerful. Did you know that we carry around in our pockets more computing power than the entire room full of computers that put a man on the moon in 1969? That's right. And most of us use that power just to play Angry Birds or Candy Crush. We can do better. We need to do better. See, the concept of the golden circle, where 80% of your business comes from within a 2-mile radius of your store, is losing ground every day. There's a new paradigm taking shape. Okay? For some customers, delivery is becoming the most important thing. And at the same time, for other customers, they'll be willing to drive farther just to get to you if they're convinced that you're the one they want to buy from. Now more than ever, small businesses need to be found online. But more important, once you are found, you need to be able to win the sale over your competitors who are increasingly just a click away. Listen, it's time to level up your business. You cannot save your way through a recession. You have to work your way through it. By taking control of your marketing, you take control of your business. And by taking control of your business, you take control of your life. And that's the journey that I invite you to go along with me on. Are you ready? So, before we dive in, let's go ahead and answer the question, who the heck am I? Who is Lance T. Walker, and why should you care what I have to say? Well, in case you haven't heard my name before, I'm not surprised because I essentially built my reputation outside of my hometown. But I had a very good reason for that, and I'll explain that to you in just a second. First of all, I had a very unique and adventurous childhood. I was born in Buffalo, New York, but raised in Westchester County for the first half of my childhood. Came home as a teenager and had the incredible fortune of attending a very particular experiment, what we affectionately now call the original City Honors High School over on Main and Delavan. And I was in the final class of that experiment, the class of 1980. The founder and principal was a visionary, a man that I greatly admire to this day. His name was Sam Alessi. And Sam Alessi gave us a mission that I never forgot. And it was this. You have to remember now, this was, late 1970s. And Bethlehem Steel, Woolworths, places like that were leaving the Buffalo area in droves. Sam Alessi gave us a mission. He said, whatever you think the Buffalo area is missing, go out into the world, fly, travel, explore, gather, and bring it back home. Make this a better place. That was a life mission that never left me. So I started my educational journey at Georgia Tech in Atlanta, where I went to study engineering and eventually focused on electronics engineering technology. My studies were interrupted by financial limitations, and shortly after that, I enlisted in the United States Air Force, eventually going special operations and finishing my studies. Now, one of the biggest things I learned in basic training as well as special operations was something the military calls attention to detail. And ironically, it was failure to pay attention to detail that led to one of the darkest periods of my life. You see, I received my honorable discharge from the Air Force in 1987. And as an avionics technician specializing in aircraft radio and radar, I assumed that I would just be able to walk into any airport on any airline and immediately get hired, especially with my track record. Lo and behold, it turns out that in order to work in a civilian capacity, in an airport or on an airline, you have to have what's called an FCC license. And I didn't have that because, part of it was nobody told me, but another part of it was I never asked. So I literally wasted 4 years not getting my credential. And suddenly, instead of being a hero walking into a job anywhere I wanted to, I found out I was disqualified from working on aircraft anywhere in the United States. So I literally wandered for 3 years because I had no idea what I could do with my background. I didn't even know what job title I was if I wasn't an avionics technician. During a job interview in San Diego, California with Qualcomm, my interviewer finally told me what my job title was. He asked me the type of equipment that I worked with, what my skills were. And he says, "Oh, you're an RF technician." I had no idea. All of a sudden, things started opening up again, and I was able to cross-train into the computer IT field. I worked computer support for a few years, and then along came this thing that we now know as the internet. And suddenly I realized that so many challenges that I had had in my life, so many things that I was experimenting with and trying to do, were really all just preparation for something that hadn't been invented yet. So in 1998, I learned web design and I founded what became the SkyVault Group digital marketing agency. See, I was an agency before agencies were cool. So in 1999, I actually moved to the San Francisco Bay Area where I took on my biggest contract, which was as a project manager for an online company called Gavelnet.com. Gavelnet specialized in auctions, online auctions for collectibles and fine art. Beautiful experience. I watched the company go from a $10 million valuation to a $30 million valuation, and I was right there in the heart of it all. Of course, then the dot-com crash occurred, and lots of folks went home to make hamburgers or sandwiches or whatever. I decided to stay with the internet marketing game, but I had to try to find a way to reinvent myself. I learned more about marketing in general, online marketing specifically. I learned real estate investing, but couldn't seem to really find my way until the next recession, 2008. You might notice a pattern here. 2008, the Great Recession, I hit on the notion that employment services for veterans were woefully inefficient and ineffective. And the idea came to create basically a central clearinghouse where veterans and employers who wanted to hire veterans could come together. Because one thing I found was there were lots of employers that really respected veterans and wanted to hire them, but they had no idea where to find them. Because like me, most veterans were trying to reacclimate to society, and you could be having lunch next to a veteran or riding the train to work next to a veteran and never know, because if they didn't tell you, you had no idea. So within 6 months, WeHireHeroes.com became the 4th most popular veterans job site on the entire internet. It literally took over my life because, ironically enough, very similar to Gavelnet, the idea took off faster than the technology to support it. And I wound up actually selling the main.com site. Now, I do still maintain ownership of the We Hire Heroes network. And as you can see here, the LinkedIn group for the network has now over 37,000 members in it. So I do keep my finger on the pulse of veteran employment. Obviously, I didn't do this by myself. There's an awful lot of people, focused on this issue. The bottom line is, over that 10-year period, the veteran unemployment rate in America dropped from 10.9% to 3.7%. And I felt like it was safe and a good time to take a look at my next challenge. Little did I know my next challenge would be COVID-19. Yeah, I had gotten into a little bit of a snowbird habit there for a couple of years, spending my winters in Florida and my summers here at home. But COVID-19 changed all of that. And once I realized I was going to be here for a while, I decided, this is a great time to honor Sam Alessi's request from back in the 70s. And so I am honored and delighted to be able to bring my talents home to Buffalo and to basically put this program in place with the express purpose of reconnecting businesses and customers who had to socially distance themselves from each other back in 2020. So this is my contribution to my hometown, my home area. I hope you appreciate it, and I'm happy to be able to make it happen. Now, everybody expects somebody to say nice things about themselves, but I want to share with you just a couple of comments from some people that I've been working with over the last year or so as I've put this program together in a way that would be presentable and effective for the people that I talk to here in my hometown. So let's start with Nancy Jean. She goes by NJ, and NJ owns a vacation condominium down in Myrtle Beach, and she had it listed on Airbnb and wanted to get the place booked on a regular basis. She actually left this comment that I thought I'd share with you. Ask how to keep your business or website on the top of Google searches without paying Google. You need to ask because the genius I know will not only help your business, but save you thousands just in advertising costs. Thank you so much, NJ. I am flattered, and wow, that is actually a very beautiful property. So anybody listening to this has, open vacation time next year, you definitely might want to look into this one. Contact NJ. Also, let's go with Ty Washington, a personal development coach. She says, I've recently been assisted, advised, and guided with some great marketing tips, tools, and techniques that will allow me to let go by delegating over to SkyVault. It's already freed me up to be more productive in my creative space, as well as allow my marketing to pay for itself. And then there's Jerry, who's a private lending broker, and says, my Facebook page looks fabulous now, and the leads are rolling in. Thanks, Lance, for pushing my comfort zone. Sometimes you have to do that. Running my business suddenly feels so much better. I love my marketing department. And that's the whole idea, right? Marketing shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't be something that you have to grit your teeth and participate in. It should be something that's actually enjoyable and fun. Okay, so let's dive in. This whole generating revenue online thing, why is it so doggone difficult? I think one of the first questions we want to address in answering that is, what exactly does the path to success look like? Okay, if we're going to be successful, we definitely want to operate on reality and not on illusion. And as it turns out, a lot of folks that, try to sell the whole, internet lifestyle dream, the whole laptop lifestyle thing, they get people to believe that this is how things are going to go. This is what happens in our imagination. We get in and things just go straight up and to the right, more money, more time, more success. Woohoo, life is beautiful. But in reality, it's not that simple. And it doesn't take too long before folks realize that it's not that simple. Here is a chart of 37 online marketing strategies, not marketing strategies, online marketing strategies. And as a matter of fact, this chart shows 37. There's actually, at my latest count, there's more than 54. Okay, but I chose this chart because it's pretty and it looks simplified, and it kind of explains how a lot of people get pulled into something that's not real. There's just so many things involved. There's so many moving pieces, moving parts to this puzzle. Okay, everything from free offers, article directories, which by the way have fallen completely out of favor with places like Google. Your email funnels, your article distribution, another labor intensive, time intensive endeavor, Facebook pages, Facebook ads, LinkedIn groups, banner ads. It just goes on and on and on. So what happens is you wind up with, in your mind, you're starting out with a chart like this, but what you wind up with is something that looks like this. Now, I know, it's a lot of you are probably, just kind of shaking your head right now and going, yeah, I'm familiar with that. Okay, I actually got this chart from Rich Sheffrin, one of the real world faculty members I spoke with you about earlier, and he calls this the U diagram. Okay, you start out with the stuff in yellow thinking that's all you're going to have to do, and pretty soon it expands to the stuff in pink and all the stuff in green, and before you know it, there's just absolutely no way you can run a successful online marketing campaign and run your business at the same time. which basically leaves you with three choices. You can quit. That's the first choice. I don't recommend that. The second is to actually hire somebody in-house to do all this stuff for you, where, pretty soon you find out you need to hire a few people because, all of these different skills are not typically, contained in one person. And there's not enough hours in the day for one person to do all this. You know this already. But then, of course, the third option is to bring in some outside help. And that's something that I'm going to recommend to you. It certainly seems to be the most logical and successful way for my clients and the people that I've worked with. So, when you're faced with all these options and all these challenges, this second box is what it feels like when we're in the process of trying to, get our feet underneath us and get to that 6K mark, that basic, 8 to 10K per month of revenue online. It just looks like this. It's just a path with all kinds of, traps and distractions and pitfalls, and it feels awful. Well, I want to give you some good news at this point. If you've been actually trying to make this happen and haven't felt success, it's not really as bad as it seems for most of us. We get to a point, I know, where it's easy to throw in the towel and just decide that the whole internet is a scam. It doesn't work. It does, but you have to know what you're doing. There's some alligators in the water, and it helps to have the right guide. So this third box is what I want you to know it actually looks like. Okay, it's not a straightforward, shoot for the sky and ta-da, you're a winner overnight. It's a series of steps. You reach certain, plateaus at certain levels, certain income levels, because the challenges become different and your priorities have to change right along with it. So the good news is, for a lot of people that I talk with and work with this whole, marketing online thing, it's really just a matter of getting the right pieces in place in the right order and the right amount. Okay. It's sort of let me give you a real world example. If you're in the right town, on the right street, at the right house, at the right door, but when you put the key in the lock, it doesn't turn, you don't have to redo the entire thing. You don't have to go to another town, another house, another neighborhood. You just have to have the right key, or have that key cut in such a way so that it'll actually turn. Okay. And once it turns, you're in. So a lot of people are doing a lot of things right. There's just some little details that they don't know in order to make that recipe work. And in fact, it might be helpful to think of it like a recipe. If you were looking to bake a cake, you wouldn't just grab a list of ingredients and run to the store and think that you had it all under control. Okay. It's not just having the right list of ingredients. It's also knowing how much of each ingredient, what order to put them in, what timing to use. See, these are the details that I was referring to earlier, fundamentals, attention to detail, that most people don't get when they, jump into the world of internet-based marketing. Okay. So now we know that there's a lot of confusion and pain out there. So how are we going to go about actually solving the problem? Well, as it turns out, the first step in solving a problem is having an accurate description of what the problem actually is. And that's what I want to go over briefly with you at this point in the program. So what I want to do is compare building your online business endeavors to climbing a mountain. There are things that you need to know in order to stay safe and to have a successful journey. And one of the things you need to know is that there are stages of business growth in your online endeavors. The first two that this program specializes in is the below 25K level per year and the 25 to 75K level. Each level has its own priorities, its own challenges, and at a certain point, you reach a plateau where the things that got you to that point won't get you to the next level. So we're concentrating, as I told you earlier, on these first two groups, folks that are working to achieve that 100K a year or $8,000 to $10,000 a month level. Now, Here basically is what you're dealing with. All right. This is the age of the super geek. This is the age where pretty much every teenager with a laptop seems like they want to claim they're a digital marketing expert. They're a social media influencer, whatever. But what they're not aware of is what business growth stage you're at and what tools are appropriate for the level you're working on. And so as a result, and I'm sure if you've been at this for any length of time, it dawns on you at a certain point that pretty much all these digital marketing agencies are selling the same thing. And this is what gets people a lot of times to turn off, when they get calls in the middle of the workday from somebody saying that they can make magic for them on Google, whatever. At a certain point, they're all selling the same thing. And those things, we call those the big three. The problem with the big three is they're meant for people who are nearing the top of the mountain. They're not meant for people who are starting out and trying to get their feet wet or, get some traction. So why do these folks sell the big three? Well, it's easy. The reason is because that's where they make the most money. But remember what I told you before about building trust and, making small purchases and then getting larger and then getting larger. It applies to this as well. So the big three are, let me just summarize it for you here real quick. These are the ones that you want to just say no to when you're not making $100K a month, or $100K a year online yet. The big three are SEO, otherwise known as search engine optimization, PPC, pay-per-click advertising, and the ubiquitous complex website funnel. Let's go ahead and drop 10 grand on a website and take 2 years before we actually make a sale. So just, briefly to go over each of those and the challenge with those. SEO is something that can be effective, but it takes a long time to work, and it's fraught with danger simply because of the fact that Google is always changing the rules. Search engine optimization is the never-ending quest to get to Google page 1. Problem is there's only room for 10 people on page 1. Okay. And if you, really make a Herculean effort and get to page 1, guess what? You just knock somebody else off page 1. So what do you think they're going to do? They're going to work harder to get back onto page 1 and try to knock you off. It's a game that never ends, and it's not a game for people who don't have deep pockets. Second, pay-per-click advertising. Listen, Facebook and, LinkedIn and Twitter and all these social media platforms, they're making plenty of money. They don't need any more of your dollars unless you're getting dollars in return. Pay-per-click, once again, is one of those games that's not for the faint-hearted. And certainly those with deep pockets invariably win because they can experiment and, of course, they can pay more for the ads themselves. So if you're not making $100K a year online, stay away from pay-per-click advertising. There's a fundamental reason for that, and I'm going to share it with you right now. If your offer is not drawing enough business to justify paying for ads, don't do it. It makes no sense to throw more money at an offer that's not working. And any internet business advisor that tells you that the solution to your problem is to throw more money at it is leading you down the wrong path. Finally, the third of the big three, the complex website funnel. I deal with this, believe me, every day. Okay. Every day I talk to somebody where I'll ask them, how are things going for you online? And I'll get back the answer, well, I'm having a website built, or I just spent a whole bunch of money on the website and it's not making me any money yet. Newsflash, websites don't make you money. A website basically has two functions. The first is to get people's attention, and then the second is to give them a place to use their credit card. Okay. The sale is typically made either on the phone, in person, or in the email box. So don't let a web designer tell you that a great, flashy, beautiful site, a wonderful design is going to make you a whole bunch of money because it's such a great looking site. There are two different types of websites. There's design driven and there's marketing driven. A design driven website makes people say, ooh, oh, that's a really nice site. I like that. A marketing-driven website gets money in the door, and that's what you want, okay? It provides a solution to a problem. And if you don't really get that, what I invite you to do next time you have a second or two is go look at Google. Okay. Google's basic design hasn't changed in 20 years. And I'm sorry, if you're a web designer looking to make a living at Google, you're going to be in trouble. Okay. Because all they do is change the graphic every day. And yet, what is the number one ranked site on the internet? Constantly, consistently for the last 10 years plus. It's Google. Why? Not because they have a fabulous design, obviously, but because they solve a problem that people need solved. And that's what your website should do. It should be a reflection of your main world business, your real world business. It solves a problem that people want solved. And that's how places like Amazon generate, the millions of dollars in sales that they do, like this, Prime Day they just recently had, where they sold 300 million packages in 2 days, and, and up the percentage of online buying in the US by 8.5% just themselves with one sale. Why? Because they're solving a problem that people want solved. In other words, discount prices and fast, reliable delivery. That's what you're up against. So, if you want to succeed online, you've got to come at it from a different perspective. You've got to use the right tool for the job. And when you're facing online giants, online, Goliaths like Amazon and Walmart and Best Buy, you can't come at it the same way they do. Does this make sense? Okay, David wouldn't run out there with Goliath's shield and spear and javelin. He's got other skills, and those skills apply to you as well. Okay, as a small business, your skills are speed, agility, okay, your ability to change directions quickly, and your ability to find weak spots in that armor. And that's pretty much what this program is all about. We're going to use the sling and not the sword. So, just to sum it up here, you can start out with all these different marketing strategies, 37, 54, however many there are. But the bottom line is, if you don't line things up strategically, if you don't have a plan where your tools work together with each other and support what you're doing, then this is what you wind up with: the cart before the horse. And this is why you can feed the horse, you can make the horse strong, you can boost your message, you can hire content writers, copywriters, you can make everything more powerful. But if you don't have the cart and the horse aligned correctly, it's like having that key in the lock that just won't turn. Last thing for this section, I want to point out to you, there are certain foundational things that are necessary. If you were, for example, if you're a doctor opening a brand new practice and your business advisor came along and said, hey doc, you got your diploma, it's up on the wall. Congratulations. You made it to medical school. Let's start running those TV commercials. And you're standing there. You don't have a sign out front and you don't even have chairs in the waiting room. Would it make sense to put a whole bunch of money in TV commercials and have people trying to find your office, or when they get there, they have to stand and wait for you? No, you wouldn't dream of doing something like that. Would you try to run a restaurant with no tables? It doesn't even make sense, right? Well, online, it's a similar perspective, okay? There are certain things that are signs out front. There are certain things that are waiting room chairs. And there's certain little details like having a magazine on the table for people to read while they're waiting, because people's minds will wander. Okay? So you want to anticipate those kinds of things. So that's what this is about. Let's get your waiting room chairs installed and get this system in an organized fashion so that you can go ahead and start hitting your financial goals. Okay, so now that we have an accurate definition of the problem, let's talk about a solution. Now, in my 24 years in this business, this is the solution that I've found to be the most effective. I'm sure there's others out there. There always are. But this is something that's worked for me, and I've found that it's worked for others as well. It's what I call the Foundation 5. Now, in military terms, whenever you're approaching an encounter, you always want to be the firstest with the mostest. And for my money, these 5 tools actually provide you with the biggest bang for the buck, the most effectiveness and power for the least amount having to invest. So the Foundation 5 is a set of online marketing campaign pillars that work together. Those pillars, here again, this is not me making a sale. This is me teaching you. This is me letting you know what's going on out here, because you can do all this yourself. Okay. You have that option, but let's go ahead and talk about a system that works. Okay. Number one is your local directories. Number two is your AI-driven automated sales assistants. And don't worry, we're going to go through all of these in a little more detail so you know what we're talking about. Number three is your video sales program, consisting of video sales letters, commercials, and audiograms. Number four is your custom social media posting. And number five is your giveaway incentives program. Let's start first with answering the question, why these tools? Why these out of all the stuff that's out there available to you? The Foundation 5 is a coordinated series. Get that? It's coordinated. It's not just haphazard. It's not just random. It's a coordinated series of low cost yet high value, cutting edge online marketing strategies that work together and act as a supercharged conversion engine for your business. Now, what the heck does all that mean? Low cost, high value. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Okay. You always want to get the most for the least. They're cutting edge. It's not something that worked 5 years ago, a year ago, and doesn't work anymore. Okay. They're online marketing strategies that work together. They feed each other. They cross-pollinate. And as a result, they produce that keyword synergy, where they act as a supercharged conversion engine for your business. In other words, the more people that see your offer, the more people actually convert, the more people actually buy your offer. See, it's a heck of a lot easier to double your conversion rate than it is to double your traffic. And so many business owners are out here, they're constantly trying to drive more traffic. But if 3% of the people who see your offer are buying, what's easier to do? Double that rate to 6% or double the number of people who see your offer? You get into a trap where, the more traffic you generate, the more opportunities you're wasting. We don't want to do that. Okay, so this system concentrates on what I call pre-traffic digital marketing. What we're doing is we're positioning you for online success by reversing the usual process. That cart before the horse thing. What we want to do is get you building a profitable foundation before you start spending money on SEO, complex web funnels, or paid ads. Remember, we mentioned the difference between an investment and an expense. If your foundation isn't set and you start spending all this money on this big three, what you're doing is you're creating an expense. Okay. If it doesn't pay for itself, it's not an investment. It's an expense. All right. This proprietary system is designed to help you double your online revenue in 30 to 90 days by doubling your conversion rate instead of sending more and more traffic to an offer that's not working. All right. So I hope that sums it up for you. Now, I want to make sure that we address this as well, because, what I call the business in a box boys, they're back at it again. Here, just, buy this box and, it'll make you a fortune overnight, and $100 bills will come spitting out of your computer screen because we've got this cookie cutter system. No. Okay. We're not talking a cookie cutter system here. What we're talking about is the difference between a custom system and a customized system. So custom is great if you got the pockets to deal with it, to make it happen. And that's what a lot of full service agencies do. They come in, they start from scratch, they reinvent the wheel, and then they do something specifically only for you. And of course, you kind of cross your fingers while you're writing that check and you hope that it works. What we've got is a system that actually works across industries, whether it's a service-based industry or a product-based business. We've got a system that works, and what we do is we customize it to your needs. So that helps us keep the cost down and maintain the effectiveness. So what we're looking to do is position you. And so in order to kind of get you to picture what that means, we want you to be like the bear. Okay. You see this grizzly bear or brown bear, who's, positioned himself at just the right spot where he knows the trout are going to be jumping. That's what you want to do. You don't want to get caught running around, in the river, down the waterfall, chasing around, just trying to catch some fish. Okay. You want to position yourself and let the fish come to you. So let's go through these real briefly. The first strategy, the top 16 directories. Did you know that Google gets the majority of its information for ranking you? If you're trying to, do that magical page one thing, they get most of their information from the top 16 directories in your area, not from your website. Okay. So, I talk with people who are spending $3,000, $4,000 a month for 6 months, and they don't even know if their SEO program is going to work or not. And Google's not even really paying attention to what's on your website anyway, because they know you're just going to say good stuff on your website. So they get the majority of their information from other sources, and one of the biggest is the top directories in your area. Okay. Now, those are free to join. You can do it yourself. Let me give you a little caveat. First of all, you got to know which 16 of those directories, your local directories, are the ones that apply for you in your area, especially. There's hundreds of them out there. You don't need to be listed on 250 directories. You just need to be listed on the top ones that apply to you. And of course, have your Google business profile in line, because Google is the number one directory, no matter where you are. So, the second caveat is these directories are spam machines. Okay. So you've got to be careful. You can't just jump on there and, okay, I'm going to list my business. By the time you get to 15, your email box will be so full that you won't even be able to find your real emails anymore. Okay. You don't want to fall into that trap. Lastly, on this point, the mybetterbuffalo.com directory is specifically created for business owners in the Niagara region, Western New York. Our whole reason for existence is to bring you back together with the customer base that you had to socially distance yourself from back in 2020. Okay, number 2, the AI-driven chatbots and review badges. These are magic in a bottle, but only if they're done right. These are what we refer to as automated sales assistants. Let me just chat with you real quick about the first one, the chatbot. Chatbots have become a lot more popular in recent years, but they haven't lived up to their promise for an awful lot of people because of basically one thing. They're not programmed right. The magic in the chatbot is not in the technology. The magic is in the script programming. You've got to be able to anticipate the buyer psychology and what will make them make the first important click when it comes to a chatbot, and that's the first click. So if your chatbot on your website says something like, oh, I don't know, can I help you? Do you have any questions? Contact us. They're basically a glorified contact page. That's not useful to you. Okay. Take a look at this one on the right. This is the one that we're using at the moment on the My Better Buffalo site. Grace is, posing a question. Hi, business owner. I'm Grace. Want to hear a secret? Okay. You see how we get curiosity to work? And then you see, when they click on it, it goes into the first thing, did you know that 69% of the public prefers to use a messaging assistant like me instead of a company's official app? That's something you probably didn't know. All right. So now we have people's attention and they can start to see the use of a virtual marketing assistant. Okay. Otherwise known as a chatbot. Second, the review badge. Now, this is something that's cutting edge and can really put you ahead of the game. A lot of folks are working hard to get those 5-star Google reviews, not realizing that they only help you if they can be seen when the buyer is ready to buy. If it's just sitting on Google, that doesn't help you, especially if you're in one of those industries where everybody's got, a whole bunch of 5-star reviews. And I'm sure, you may be one of the folks who has that experience where you've got 72 5-star reviews and some guy with 12 is ahead of you in the Google rankings. Why is that? Well, first of all, it's because that's not the number of reviews is not the only thing that Google uses in their algorithm. But also, if everybody's got 5 stars, what does the buyer do then? How do they choose? And so you wind up with a situation where, you see a lot of folks, they'll do copies and put up a testimonial page on their website or an actual link back to Google so that people can see their 5 stars. We've got a better way now. With the review badge, what this does is it's like a chatbot on steroids, and you can actually have both of these on the same site. What this does, it live streams your Google 5-star or 4-star rankings onto your website where they can do you the most good when people are there ready to make their buying decision. As you can see on the bottom here, it shows a couple of lines of the testimonial, and then it uses the word more. And it stays with the buyer as they're scrolling down your page. It doesn't go away. Now it'll disappear for a few seconds and then come back in order to, keep grabbing their attention, so that at a certain point when they, see something that they're curious about, they'll click that little more link, and boom, it brings up this big green, it's not always green, but it brings up this table that you see where it shows the full testimonial. It shows the number of testimonials you have, and it allows you to, to see them one after the other. You're not just restricted to one. And then most important, it gives you a big giant call to action button. So what you're doing is one of the most important things that you can do in your online marketing, or any marketing for that matter, is you're making it easy for them to take the action you want them to take. Okay, whether it's, making a purchase, whether it's calling to make an appointment, whatever it is that you want the buyer to do, you put yourself in a position where you're making that easy for them when they're at the peak of their emotional involvement. So the part of the buyer psychology is they tend to come down to the last 2 or 3, and then they go visit the websites to make their mind up which one they want to go with. Well, what you're doing is you're making it so easy that obviously you're the one to deal with, and you're getting ahead of your competition and basically cutting them out of the game right at the finish line. And that's what you want. You want that unfair advantage. Okay, let's move on. The third item is your online video marketing system. This is basically composed of 3 things based on your YouTube account. You have 3 basic tools here. The first is your interactive long-form video sales letter. Nowadays, people just don't want to read as much as they used to, if they ever did. So you want an interactive video, one that they can actually, make choices with, answer questions with, get involved with. It's a particular type of video that's recently become available to us. The second is your 60-second video commercial, preferably one a month. And since we're talking about a 6-month program here, that would be 6 video commercials of 60 seconds each that drive people's interest, drive them to your website, drive them to your offer, your landing page, however it is that you're making your sale, your social media. Those commercials grab attention much, much more effectively than, just a static image. And then the third one is a 3 to 5 minute audiogram, which is basically one image. You see an example of it here on the left, where the little wavy graph there at the bottom, it's not a graph, but it's a signal, shows that there's audio playing. This is a very useful tool for you because it allows people to basically continue on with their lives without having to stop and focus on your video. That's a great thing if you can get them to do it, but audio has its place as well. And so, if people can continue to drive to work and listen to your message, or, walk the treadmill at the gym, or listen in the kitchen while they're preparing dinner, you can really get a lot of attention, through the ear as well as through the eyes. Powerful, powerful tools. Okay. Number 4, your custom social posting program. Turns out there is a recipe for social media posting. The vast, vast majority of people trying to do business on social media will tell you flat out it just does not work. Ask them, if they're popular. I mean, I've worked with, social media influencers with, tens of thousands of followers who couldn't pay their electric bill. Likes, comments, and shares don't pay the bills. There is a recipe that is held secret in high confidence by the folks in the industry who know. And, we've been able to make the investment and get hold of this recipe. But, I have to tell you, one of the terms of being able to purchase it is I can't share it with you here. That's why it's, you see it's kind of blurred out there. I'm not allowed to share this secret with the world. I can only share it with, clients and prospects one-on-one. But I can tell you this. The recipe is nowhere near what the average person would think it is. You would not come up with this in a million years, sitting under a tree and contemplating. It turns out there are 6 different types of posts to do on social media. And by different types, I don't mean, picture versus video versus text. I mean different approaches. There's the recreational post, there's the entertaining post, there's the conversational post, and it goes on. There's 6 different types. And there's a ratio that needs to be done in order for it to be effective, in order to draw people back. The idea is you want your social media page or group to become a destination, a place that people actually come to and look forward to hearing from. And that doesn't happen with buy my stuff twice a week, which that's what you find a lot of folks doing. That's kind of the norm. They start off, hot and heavy, and by the 3rd week, they've decided it doesn't work or they don't have time. It's a lot more time consuming than they thought it was. And before you know it, it's been a month and you haven't posted anything. So having a custom social posting program is critical. Now, one more caveat for you, because here's one of those secrets they don't tell you. When you use an automated service, something like something like Buffer or things like that, not only are those still time intensive because you still have to come up with the content, but it turns out that Facebook or LinkedIn or whoever, when you use a third-party software to make a posting, they automatically kill your reach. They don't show it to anybody. And that's one of the reasons why you have to post so often. If somebody says, hey, are you posting on social media regularly? And you say, yeah, at least 2 or 3 times a week. Sorry. When social media platforms say post regularly, they mean once a day or more. Facebook wants you to post twice a day, every day, or your customers stay away. And of course, who's got time for that? Remember, I told you before, you cannot run a successful online campaign and run your business at the same time. It's just not possible, and it's designed that way. So that's the 3rd rule with social media. The first is twice a day or your customers stay away. The second is there's a recipe. And the third is don't try to do this yourself. Whether you're working with us or somebody else, you just simply have to hire somebody if you want to stay competitive. And it has to be done by hand. That's the stark reality of it all. This just occurred to me. Did you know one of the reasons why they want you to post so often on these media platforms is on Facebook, the average life of a posting is 3 hours. Okay. So if you post in the morning, it's available to whatever few people they show it to for 3 hours. Then you post in the evening during the rush hour or whatever, or dinner hour, and it's available for another 3 hours. And then it's gone. The average life of a Twitter post is 6 minutes. Think about that. Okay. All right. Moving on. The number 5 element of the Foundation 5 is the Deluxe Giveaway Incentives Program. If you're offering something similar to what another company or another competitor is offering, how do they make the decision which one to go with? Now, a review badge can help, but what if you don't have a website? Or what if they don't get to your website? Well, having an incentives program can be the thing that tips them over the edge. And, for example, one of the programs that we use at My Better Buffalo is the restaurant discount voucher. The second, for at a higher level of participation, if they become a customer at a higher level, is the free vacation offer. Okay, especially post-COVID, folks are just, they're ready to get out there, and if you can help with inflation, if you can help take some of the cost off of their vacation trip, then you've done them a great service. So this is the offer. Okay, I hope this content has been valuable for you. And so I want to actually give you an opportunity to take a look at what we have here. If you want proven results, we have something very special for you. And there's obviously no pressure whatsoever for you to take advantage of it, but it is my job to put it in front of you, and your job is to decide whether you want to take it or not. And if you do decide, I want to let you know right here up front, if within the first 30 days you aren't delighted with the results, I'll give you a full refund. Okay, no questions asked. That's, we only want to work with folks that are delighted, and we delight the folks that we work with. So basically, this is what it boils down to. If you found this helpful, we have a 6-month program, like I said, that I call the Foundation 5. It includes the top 16 local directories plus Google Business, which you can participate a la carte in all of these. We actually sell these programs individually. For the local directories program, that's a $997 value. The AI-driven automated sales assistants, the chatbots and review badges, we can set that up for you individually if you like. The retail price on those is $9.97 for 6 months. Remember, this whole thing is a 6-month program. The video package, which includes the interactive sales letter and the 12 commercials and audiograms, one a month for each. 6 and 6 is 12. The retail on that is $29.97. You don't have to show up on camera, by the way. The twice daily custom social media posting, twice a day, every day for 6 months, has a retail value of $24.97. And the deluxe giveaway incentive program, we can actually put in place for you at a retail price of $5.97. So the total retail cost of all of these, if you buy them separately, is $8,085. Don't worry, that's not what we're looking at. Okay, we're going to give you a special deal because of the fact that you're here and the fact that you've, stayed with it this long. And obviously you're the type of person that's capable of following through and is deserving of some success online. So this is what this is about. We want to be the bridge between where you are now and where you're trying to go. Like the Grand Island Bridge that you see here. Okay, you want to safely and effectively get from where you are to where you want to go. So now at this point, you basically have two options. You can do it the hard way or the easy way. You can choose to use the bridge or not to. It's completely up to you. So what is the hard way? The hard way is to go it alone and try to figure out all this stuff by yourself. Most online business owners, quite frankly, are burning money and time constantly searching for more traffic when it would be much easier to just convert more of the traffic they have if they only knew how. So what are they doing? There's two forms of currency in business. There's cash and there's time. And it's up to you to decide how much or how little you want to burn through of each of these two forms of currency. The second option is the easy way. That's what we like to call it, the easy way. The easy way is to go with a proven system from somebody who's already done it. And I would add to this for someone who specializes in it all day. Digital marketing is what we do all day, every day. We focus on our business and we want to give you the opportunity to focus on yours. So imagine no longer having to rely on what we call hope marketing, where you're throwing stuff out there and you're hoping that it'll work. Let's try this. Let's try that. Well, that didn't work. Let's try that. Well, that doesn't work. So we're just going to stop. We don't want to do hope marketing anymore. We want to do strategic marketing. Also, we want to make sure to use customized things that we know already work, but don't have to be built from the ground up at a cost of time and expense. So here in summary is the offer. I'm going to show you 3 extra bonuses that are going to push the total retail value of this package to over $10,000. What we're offering it to you for is a discounted price of $39.97 for a full 6-month program and allowing you to get on board and get us working for you within the next 24 to 48 hours. The second option is to use our payment plan, which is 3 monthly payments of $1,400 each. And then, of course, your bonuses will be delivered at the end of that third payment. So let's talk about those bonuses real quick. The first bonus is the $200 restaurant discount voucher. This is worth $200. And when I say worth $200, that's exactly what I mean. It's $200 in discounts from restaurants, everything from fast food to fine dining, geared for Western New York, but actually good nationwide. The second bonus is a premium listing page on the mybetterbuffalo.com website. This website is specifically designed to connect you to your customer base. It's a directory, but it's a directory on steroids. The premium listing page on this is so robust that we have clients that actually use that page as their website. Okay, it actually spares them the cost of building a website. And then that value is $597 for a year. We're going to give you that as an extra sign-up bonus as part of your 16 directory program. And then third, the special sign-up bonus is if you come on board with us, then you're going to receive a free luxury vacation to either Las Vegas, Hawaii, or Cancun. I'm talking with the folks. I think we're going to go ahead and add Orlando to that as well. So that's 4 options that you'll have as far as, when you want to take your vacation in the next 18 months. So that's the program in a nutshell. Let me review it for you one more time. The Foundation 5 is the top 16 local directories plus the Google Business Profile setup, your AI-driven automated marketing assistants, in other words, your chatbots and review badges, your video sales program, your sales letter, your commercials, and your audiograms, your twice daily social posting program, custom, hand-loaded, every day, twice a day for 6 months. And that's on one platform. Usually Facebook is where we start. Number 5 is the Deluxe Giveaway Incentives Program, which you've just seen an example of that with the bonuses that we're providing here. And that's a total retail value on this package of $10,382. Your price as a Prime customer. We're looking to gain real traction in the Western New York area. We want MyBetterBuffalo.com to be the destination for shoppers looking to buy, services and goods in Western New York and the Niagara region. So because of that, the normal price of about $8,000 for this package is cut in half, and you can have it for a song at $39.97, a one-time investment. And if that's not something that can work for you at the moment, we can also go ahead and go with the payment plan, which is $1,400 tonight, and then 2 more monthly payments of $1,400 each. So, if you pay in full, you can save $200. And with the payment plan, you can go ahead and stretch it out. Either way, we'll be set up and working for you within 48 hours. The only thing I would ask of you is make your move. Go to mybetterbuffalo.com/VIP. That's mybetterbuffalo.com/VIP. And just choose which option you prefer. And we'll go ahead and get rolling for you, and you'll have a 6-month program that you don't have to worry about, geared up within the next 24 to 48 hours. And also remember, it's 6 months or less. I mean, there's certain things like the social media posting that run for 6 months regardless. But remember, our goal here is to be ready to rock and roll in time for the Christmas holiday season, which is 4 months away. So the vast majority of this program will be set up within the first 30 days, and that's what allows us to give you that unconditional satisfaction guarantee. You will be delighted in that first 30 days because, we're ramping up and we're serious, and we want you to come along with us. Now, I want to go ahead and address some common concerns, some common questions that I get asked when it comes to this program. And starting off, well, what about networking? I enjoy networking. It's been effective for me. Just want to point out, your online marketing division is not something that, you want to actually replace everything else with. That's not what this is about. This is not a instead of proposition. This is an in addition to. This is a major set of tools that you want to add to your toolkit. As far as networking, referrals, word of mouth, things like that, they're fabulous. They work very well, and they're great to have. It's called business reputation, but they're also sporadic and unpredictable. So this is not, not saying that, hey, this works and that doesn't. No. It works, but at what pace and what predictability? We want to have a steady, predictable, reliable stream of business coming through, and that's what building your online division can add to you. Now, the other one is in terms of lead generation, what's going to be the cost per lead? Well, one of the things that you want to focus on, and we don't define this specifically as a lead generation program. We have, other programs for that. But when you think about things like Angie's List or Home Advisor or different places like that, a lot of these companies will charge you anywhere from $50 to $300 for one lead. Even if you think about something like, running Google ads or Facebook ads, you can wind up paying anywhere from, $10 on up to $100 for one lead. And that's not a sale. That's just a lead. A lot of these online companies will also share your lead with 5 other folks. So if you're out actually working a job and you get a lead and, it takes you 15, 20 minutes to get back to that lead, a lot of times you find out the business is already gone. So a lead that you generate yourself through your own Foundation 5 efforts is 100% yours. And you're not sharing it with anybody. So we want to put you at the front of the line, the firstest with the mostest, and at the same time, make sure that you get to keep more of what you've earned. So the question becomes, even if this system, which remember is designed to get you to the 6-figure level online, even if this system only does half of what I've claimed today, is it still worth the investment? Okay. We want to focus on doubling your conversions instead of always trying to double your traffic. Can you see the impact that will have on your bottom line? So if you want to do this the easy way, let us be your online marketing department. There's no need to hire a dozen people to handle these things when we already have the team set up to do it for you. MyBetterBuffalo.com/VIP. MyBetterBuffalo.com/VIP. I want to show you the offer one more time. This is what you'll actually see when you get to that webpage. And then just go ahead and click on which plan works for you. The paid in full where you save $200, or the payment plan where you get to stretch it out over 3 months. Now, at this point, if you stayed with me this long and you're still here, then you're probably either feeling really excited to do this or maybe just a little bit overwhelmed at the journey that lies ahead. So let me go ahead and address that. First of all, let me put your mind at ease a little bit. If you're already comfortable with the results that you're getting from the things you're doing now, then keep doing them and think of this as a way to actually step to the next level. But if not, if you don't have somebody who is helping you with your online strategy, if you've tried a bazillion things that never worked and you don't really want to do all this crap anyway, then I encourage you to think about this a different way. We all know that more and more your customers are looking for you online. And even if they find you offline in a neighborhood newspaper or on a billboard or radio or TV commercial, they're still going online to check you out. So doesn't it make sense to fortify your online strategy before your competitors do? Something Tony Robbins taught me a long time ago. He said, to make real change in your life, it requires either inspiration or desperation. Okay. Now, either way, what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to encourage you to take a look inside yourself and trust that your spirit knows the right answer. If your spirit is telling you that, you're not ready for this or this is not the right time for it, then by all means, take what I've given you today, make use of it, get value from it, and God bless. On the other hand, if your spirit is telling you that this is something that you need to do, that this is something that it's the right time and you're the right person for it, then I encourage you. Hopefully I've inspired you to take a step that will yield big results for your online business. Me and my team will do 80% of the work. All we need is your invitation and your cooperation. So if you're ready, we're ready. Make your move now while there's room on our calendar. MyBetterBuffalo.com/VIP. MyBetterBuffalo.com/VIP. Now, earlier, I promised you a bonus worth $200 if you stayed until the end. So here's that package I was telling you about. I didn't forget. There's no expiration date on this bonus. Remember that $200 restaurant discount voucher that I was telling you about? Well, you get to have that completely free of charge just for staying with me during this class. There's no expiration date, like I said. Whenever you're ready, just send us an email. Here's the address, support@mybetterbuffalo.com, and we'll send it right out to you. It's an email link. It's online. You click, and then when you go to use the coupon, you actually just use your phone. Okay, so yeah, it's high tech, I know. You remember the coupon books they used to have? Well, this is the updated online version of that. So I hope you find that valuable. And one more time, last time, I want to go ahead and show you the nature of the program. Your top 16 local directories plus your Google business profile, your AI-driven automated marketing assistance, your video sales letters, commercials, and audiograms, your twice daily social posting program, your deluxe giveaway incentives programs, and the 3 bonuses. Total value over $10,000. Your price today, a one-time investment of $39.97 or a 3-time payment plan of $1,400. Alrighty, MyBetterBuffalo.com/VIP. And I'm going to go ahead and sign off. So until we meet again, this is Lance T. Walker with MyBetterBuffalo.com, encouraging you to dream fiercely and play to win. Bye-bye.